What's up, Loose Brew Club? Today we're going to be talking about soup, specifically OXO brewer, and how I recommend brewing it, and we'll be using the Kohaku as an example. So the OXO is great because it can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be, really. But at a base level, it's an overglorified AeroPress with a screen. W, love that. So I use the AeroPress filters, and then I filter sandwich, meaning 2 paper filters. I pre-wet one in the actual brew chamber, then I put one in there. Not the most ideal workflow, but it helps. So grind setting, I do, for this recipe, I'm doing 22 in and 200 out. So it's like more of like a brew that you can sit down and really drink, and less like an espresso. And I've heard the grind setting referred to as like 5 clicks coarser than your turbo shot setting, or 5 clicks finer than your like finest pour over setting. So really don't think of the like grind size as espresso. A lot of people think of the grind size as espresso. It's not real. It's not right. You can WDT. This is probably the most important. Whatever is like making sure that the bed is flat. More important than flow rate or anything else is just making sure the extraction is going to go all the way through pretty flat. The water's coming out. I do recommend that you watch like one previous flow rate video so that you understand, but like having a flow rate reader on the actual brewer is probably like a big waste of money, because it's going to do the same thing relatively every single time. So depending on your pumping style, I would say just watch what happens at different pumping styles and then just replicate that. They make different like tampers that will make it flatter. Again, you can make it as complicated as you really want it to be, or as simple as you want it to be. So, filter paper sandwich done. I'm gonna put this on it, and I'm gonna get ready to brew. So my water temperature, I'm at like 203. Cooler temperatures for lighter coffees is preferred. The idea here is that the like hotter the water temperature is, the like quicker your water is gonna seep through your bed. So mess around with that, that's fun. I like to keep it around like 200, 199 to 203 is kind of my sweet spot. As far as treatment goes, I definitely think you should treat your water for this stuff, because it's like higher TDS, and you're gonna get a lot of astringencies and a lot of sours if you don't. I'm using the Empirical water buffer by itself, which is literally just sodium bicarbonate, and I like it pretty well. If I had more of this extraction booster, I would, because a lot of the places where soup struggles is that it becomes under extracted if you don't have it, the correct burst set, aka me. So I'm gonna brew using the like Lance Hendrick method. I'm gonna shoot this. That was delicious. That was the kabuki. Lance Hendrick method. So tear, again, the coffee's in there. His argument is like, when you pour in here, there's like air pockets, and you'll be able to see it when I like tap it and the air comes out. His argument is that if you like do it at an angle where the air can come out of the sides, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit, you'll have a flatter bed and a more even extraction. So tear it with the brew chamber, this guy. Again, there's 22 grams of coffee in there. And then I like this decanter. Other people like to use other decanters, whatever. You don't have to time it. So again, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm like moving it around. And once the water is like about there, I put it back and then I give it a tap. You see there's like little to no air that came out of that because I wetted it all at the same time. Then I'll just pour all the way to 200, should see some coffee start to come out. That's okay. This is my recipe for higher volumes of water. So pour it to 212. Really, this is like really foolproof, especially with this much water. I just some light gentle taps there. And then I'll pump it all the way down and hold it for about 30 seconds to bloom. You'll see a resemblance between like my filter takes and this, because I'm trying to brew this to taste like filter. Okay, and then we'll slowly pump. And at this flow rate, it's not even reaching like 0.5 of a bar. And at its like most aggressive, like where you're like really beating the piss out of it, it's not reaching over 0.5 of a bar. So it really doesn't matter. Hiss, instantly release the pressure. I don't know if you remember like all the AeroPress recipes and how people would like avoid the hiss. Here people are saying it tastes the same if you release the hiss or if you put in the hiss into your brew. But just for sake of not ruining anything, I always make sure to release the pressure so that the water stops. And there you go. What's left is, I don't know where to put this. What's left is a beautiful brew. That was the one from earlier. And it's a lot like higher TDS than filter would be. But as you can see, it's like not muddy. Geisha soup. Some dense beans, bro. Okay, so this is my ultralight geisha soup. Less water. This is probably more of like some people's speed. It's 20 grams and it's a 1 to 3, so 60 grams out. I'm gonna put my 20 grams of coffee in. Again, make sure it's leveled. And this like really large surface area is what makes soup so good on the OXO. This is how I prefer to do these like less water shots, because the real problem with the OXO is this thing at the end of the day. So if we just bypass this, if I'm not filling it up with enough water to get into this, this will screw on perfectly fine and work. So I'm skipping the dispersion screen and I'm going directly through the basket, kind of like a flare, honestly, but at like not even 1 bar. So tare again, pour in, I'm gonna time it this time, my 60 grams of water. Whatever I pour in is what I'm gonna get out, except for like a little bit that gets absorbed by the coffee. Gently pour it so that you don't disrupt the bed. I don't know if you can see that, but like nothing's being disrupted really. Make sure it's tight and take it off. And then I'm going to wait till I see some drops very lightly. Has a little bit of, there we go. I'm just gonna hold it. And the idea is that if it's really saturated, it'll come out really fast and evenly. Just slowly pump it out. And there it is. I really wonder what this is gonna taste like. It's fun. The real advantage here to the OXO brewer is that it's cheap. It's about like 30 to 40 bucks. You can find it at Target and it's fun. So just have fun with it. Dispersion screens, level tamps, those are like upgrades that I would say are worth it. Other than that, everything I just showed you will get you some solid coffee. Peace.